is a local company called Pindari, and I welcome Matt Walker to the stage to tell us how good it has been.
Pindari WA is based in Dunsborough. We, as it says up there, we supply trade labour hire. We do small, what we call minor works projects for the resource sector. So building and maintenance, I suppose, and we also have some gardening and horticultural services at a mine site. So we're based in Dunsborough, but all our guys work up in the Pilbara. We were started, I suppose, or established in '97. The gentleman that started the business was an electrician by trade. Mid-2000s, as the mining sector started to wind up, saw an opportunity to start his own business. As a qualified electrician, was informed that he needed some business sort of background or skills before he could do that. So he took himself off to uni, and in the process became a labour hire guy in his uni holidays for Rio. So secured a double business degree, I think an accounting major and a business degree. Came back and set the business up in its current form in 2008. And I might just jump forward. That's the gentleman there, David Padek, in the middle. Very quiet guy and quite unassuming guy, but quite inspirational, I suppose, in what he's achieved. So the business started basically from nothing in 2008 and has been hugely successful, which has presented us with a whole range of growing pains. Pretty much we have doubled sales, I guess, year on year since 2008. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Essentially an Indigenous-owned business. Our objective is to provide employment and training opportunities for Indigenous folk in the Pilbara. And so we have 4 apprentices and a trainee that also work for us. And it's really our staff commitment to quality and safety that drives our success. The next slide just is, I guess, a picture view of what we do. Building solutions pretty much describes itself. Testing and tagging solutions, which is, as you all know, your portable appliances need testing once a year. I think down here up north it's every quarter. So we supply that service. Labour hire is not recruitment, so we put tradies into mine site roles for a period of time. So it may be anything from 2 weeks to 2 months, and then we roll them out into another job somewhere else. So these guys are basically casual workers that work across a whole range of different sites. The ground maintenance and landscaping team, which I've referred to. Our primary client is Rio Tinto. We've been servicing those guys since 2008, and just recently we've picked up, we've got on the panel for BHP. So we started working for BHP early last year. Part of the, I guess, the recognition in terms of the services we provide is what Rio calls their supplier recognition program. And as you can see, we were runner-up there in 2011 for maintenance, winner in 2012, and fingers crossed we'll get a gong this year as well. Just, I guess, a little slide about the kinds of things we're doing. So you can see there the site, Rio Tinto, obviously Yandi and West Angeles. Room upgrades, so we've all heard about the accommodation that the guys stay in. So as you would expect over time, there's required maintenance. So we had a contract to basically strip out the accommodation back to the bare bones and basically upgrade and reinstall. So that was a rolling program that ran over a period of time. Most of our work is actually in the village itself as opposed to the mine. So the conditions are, I guess, a little bit better for our workers, not quite as dusty. But it's also the kind of work that the really big boys aren't interested in. So we sort of fill that niche between the really big construction jobs and the small works that are a bit fiddly for the major players. So a range of refurbishment type jobs, ablution upgrades, installation of sheds, for example, at the Wickham Accommodation Expansion Project up in the coast. About 18 months ago, the business really shifted from labour hire, which was about 60 to 70% of our business, into projects, which is, I guess, where it is now. Growth in projects has challenges, or project works, I should say, has challenges. particularly with cash flows. So you obviously pay for your materials and your labour up front, and then you have to wait for the job to be completed and any punch listing, etc., to be completed, final reports, etc., before you get your check, the proverbial check. So we're going through this massive growth phase, and we're cash poor. So the business was great on paper. Coupled with that, I suppose, the change in the work environment where the clients now became more interested in or more focused in quality assurance. And I guess they were using that quality assurance as a tool to weed out some of the suppliers that had been involved in the sector. So our challenge last year was how we prove that we provide quality products, and I guess how we as a business could find the time to put something like quality assurance in place. Just a quick slide about quality assurance. Obviously, quality assurance is about the process. Quality control is about making sure your product at the end of the production line meets your standards. So we knew we needed a quality management system in place. We were time poor, and we didn't have, I guess, the resources that we needed to put it in place at the time. The funding program came in. We spoke with a business mentor who brought this particular program to our attention. For us, it was assistance, I guess, of up to $20,000, but it's 50-50 funding, of course. We didn't actually secure that amount. It wasn't required. But clearly we were looking for expert advice, improvement to our internal business infrastructure via the quality management system, training for staff, and obviously our objective is to secure that management system certification, the ISO 9001-2008. I have to say I've done a lot of these grant applications over the years. I used to work in an industry that was, or in an organisation that was required fairly heavily on grant funding, and this one was pretty easy for us. Most of the information required for this particular application process was at hand, so it was very straightforward. And what we found is now that we're we're allowed to share the message that we're obviously going down this path, our clients or our work has increased substantially. So just by informing our clients that we're going through this process, we have essentially secured access to offshore oil and gas, which is pretty exciting for us. And larger projects. So again, we're in the process of, we're a finalist for a project up on the coast, which will be the largest project that we've ever undertaken, and hopefully we'll hear about that in the next few weeks. Also, due to the sudden sort of increase in work volume, we've engaged 3 new senior roles: an operations manager, a new electrical manager, and electrical supervisor who'll be up on site. So off the back of this funding, even though we still haven't achieved our objective, which is the certification, because we've travelled this path, this funding has really launched us into another growth phase in a highly competitive market. So through, I guess, the Department of Commerce and the IF SP funding, we've upskilled staff, we've improved our internal business infrastructure, and we're obviously far more competitive in an already competitive market. We will be one of the few Indigenous businesses in WA that's certified once we get the certification. Our audit is next month, so hopefully there'll be some good news coming. So that's our little success story, and I'm obviously happy to chat to anyone afterwards if they've got any questions about that particular funding program. Just on a side point, we did get the Enterprise Connect funding as well. We've had two grant funding applications, I guess, in our limited history. One was Enterprise Connect for the business review, and I guess this is the second one. So, and I can obviously thoroughly recommend both. Okay, thank you.